Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today by doing a little bit of a time check. It is February 2026.
We are officially in the future.
We are. And if you're anything like me, or honestly, like most people I talk to in the corporate world right now, you might be feeling a very specific kind of heavy emotion. It's not excitement. It's not, fear of the robot overlords. It's fatigue.
The dreaded AI fatigue.
That's the one. Because think about it, for the last 3 years, pretty much since late 2022, we've been promised that artificial intelligence is going to revolutionize absolutely everything. We've seen the chatbots, we've seen the image generators, all those demos that make your jaw drop. But then you go to work on Monday morning.
And you open your laptop.
Right, I open my laptop, and I'm still drowning in emails. I'm still sitting in meetings that could have been emails. I'm dealing with the same bottlenecks I had in 2023. So the big question driving our deep dive today is this. We know AI matters. We know the potential is massive. So why isn't it actually changing how we work? Why does it feel like we're just spinning our wheels?
It is the multi-billion-dollar question. And honestly, it's the defining characteristic of what analysts are calling the trough of disillusionment. The tech is incredible, but the implementation, that's where things are getting really, really messy.
So to help us answer that, we are looking at a brand new platform that was, literally just announced. It's called Scalepoint AI, and it comes from a company called Winning Team AI.
And what makes this so interesting isn't just the software itself, but how they're positioning it. They aren't pitching another, magic wand tool. They aren't selling a slightly faster chatbot. They are calling this a strategic AI adoption assistant.
Okay, I have to stop you there. Strategic AI Adoption Assistant. That sounds like absolute buzzword salad. If I'm a listener, I'm rolling my eyes right now. Is this just a fancy name for a paperclip that pops up on your screen?
It does sound very corporate, I'll give you that. But when you actually dig into what it does, which is what we're going to do, it's trying to solve a very unsexy but very real problem. It's not a magic wand. Think of it more like a GPS for your daily tasks.
A GPS.
Yeah, think about it. You don't buy a GPS to drive the car for you. You buy it to tell you, hey, there's traffic ahead. Turn left here. This tool is designed to sit on top of your work and say, you're writing a report. Here's the data you usually miss. It's all about bridging that gap.
So let's unpack this gap, because Winning Team AI didn't just build this in a garage over a weekend. They apparently spent years inside organizations watching them try and, fail to adopt AI. What did they actually find?
They identified a pattern that I think will sound painfully familiar to anyone working in a large company. They call it the execution breakdown.
What does that look like?
Well, you had the leaders who had the vision, the CEO shouting, we are an AI company now. You had teams that were curious people actually want to learn new tools. And the companies were buying the software. They were writing the checks.
So they have the desire, they have the budget, and they have the tools.
Exactly. But the execution consistently broke down. The pilot programs would start with a lot of fanfare, maybe get a little buzz for a month, and then they would just stall. They just wouldn't scale.
Why? Was the tech just too hard to use?
See, that's the common assumption.
Yeah.
People assume it's a skills gap, that employees aren't tech savvy enough. But what they found was, it was something else. It's not a capability problem, it's a friction problem.
Friction.
Winning Team AI describes it as isolated experiments. You have this shiny new tool, but it sits over there in the corner, totally disconnected from the actual work people are doing. To use it, an employee has to stop their work, open a new tab, log in, prompt the thing, wait, copy the answer, paste it back.
Right, you're asking them to leave their workflow just to get help with their workflow.
Exactly. And human nature takes the path of least resistance. If the AI isn't right there, in the context of the messy email or that complex spreadsheet, it just doesn't get used. The gap isn't a lack of desire, it's a lack of integration. It's like when you buy a treadmill, put it in the basement, pile laundry on it, and then wonder why you weren't running a marathon.
That hits a little too close to home with the treadmill analogy, but it makes sense. So Scalepoint AI enters the chat, and their pitch is basically, we're not another piece of gym equipment. We're the personal trainer who stands next to you and tells you exactly what to do.
That's the perfect way to visualize it. Scalepoint is designed to be an adoption assistant that guides the organization through the entire journey, from are we even ready for this, to prioritizing what to do, to the actual execution.
And looking at the target audience here, I noticed something interesting. They emphasize this is for both executives and non-technical teams. It's not just for the IT department or the data scientists.
And that is critical. Early feedback on the design mentions it feels supportive and intuitive. It's human-centered. It's not throwing code at you. It's, guiding you.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics. I want to know how this thing actually ticks. The sources mention 4 core pillars of Scalepoint. Let's break these down because I think this is where we see the difference between hype and utility. Pillar number 1, strategy before tools.
This is the philosophy of why before how.
Which sounds obvious, right? Know why you're doing something.
It sounds obvious, but in the AI gold rush of 2024 and 2025, everyone forgot it. Everyone just jumped straight to how do we use this tool instead of why are we even doing this?
I feel seen. I think we've all been in that meeting where a manager says, we need to use AI for something, and nobody knows what problem they're actually solving.
That is the trap. So Scalepoint forces you to clarify your objectives first. It aligns the AI initiative with an actual business outcome. So you aren't just doing AI for AI's sake. You're doing it to solve a specific problem, like reducing customer churn or speeding up your supply chain.
Okay, so step 1 is figuring out the why. Pillar number 2 is adoption inside real workflows. This goes right back to your friction point.
This is the integration piece. Scalepoint doesn't want to be a destination. It wants to be a companion. It integrates into the tools your teams already use.
So if I'm in my email or my project management software, Scalepoint is just there.
It's hovering. It's ready. It prevents AI from being that isolated experiment on the sidelines. It removes the context switching.
That brings us to pillar number 3, real-time guidance. Now, be honest, is this going to be like Clippy from Microsoft Word? It looks like you're writing a letter because that was so annoying.
The Clippy trauma runs deep, doesn't it? But the difference here is context and intelligence. Think of this less like an annoying paperclip and more like a senior mentor looking over your shoulder.
Okay, that sounds much better.
As you're working, it offers contextual feedback and recommendations. The biggest barrier to adoption is usually fear of looking stupid, fear of breaking something, or just not knowing how to prompt the AI. This provides a safety net. It builds confidence so users can learn while they work.
Confidence, not confusion. Like that. And finally, pillar number 4, clear, actionable outputs.
This moves us from hesitation to clarity. A lot of AI tools, they give you abstract advice. Scalepoint gives you practical next steps. It gives you roadmaps. It tells you, okay, based on this strategy, here is exactly what you need to do next Tuesday at 9 a.m.
So it's moving you from, we should probably do something with AI, to,
here is your to-do list.
I want to dig a little deeper into the features, specifically this scenario-based guidance. The marketing copy says it helps identify where AI will move the needle. But what does that actually look like? Can you give me a day-in-the-life example?
Sure. Let's get concrete. Imagine you are a store manager for a retail chain. It's Tuesday morning. You have to write the weekly shift schedule.
Ugh, the Tuesday morning headache.
Right. And usually that's 3 hours of staring at a spreadsheet, checking time off requests, looking at sales forecasts, trying to balance the budget. It's just grueling.
And usually you just suffer through it.
Exactly. Now, with Scalepoint, you don't just open a chat button and say, make a schedule. As you open your scheduling software, Scalepoint, because it's integrated, pops up a sidebar. And it says, I see your staffing for next week. Sales are projected to be up 20% on Friday due to a local event. Do you want to add an extra cashier?
Oh, so it's context aware. It's reading the room.
It's reading the business.
Yeah.
And then it offers a button. Draft schedule based on these parameters. It turns a blank page into a first draft instantly. It walks you through the scenario of scheduling rather than just being a generic text generator.
That is a huge distinction. It's not waiting for you to come up with the perfect prompt. It's anticipating the need.
And the output isn't just text. It's what they call action-ready recommendations. It's all designed for speed to value.
Okay, this all sounds fantastic on paper, but I'm a skeptic. We've heard promises like this before. Does it actually work? I mean, show me the receipts.
The proof is in the pudding. And Winning Team AI has provided 3 specific case studies that I think are really telling because they cover different types of, organizational messes.
Let's hit them. Case study number 1. A mid-sized services company. What was their deal?
Their problem was the classic pilot purgatory. They had done some experiments. They had a few people using ChatGPT on the side, but they were struggling to move beyond that. They just didn't know where to start scaling.
So they were stuck at the starting line with a really fast car.
Exactly. Scalepoint came in, analyzed their workflows, and identified 12 high-impact use cases across operations and finance. It didn't just say do everything. It picked the 12 that actually mattered.
And the result?
A 40% faster time to value, and, importantly, a clear roadmap for scaling. They went from stuck to moving fast.
40% is significant. That's the difference between hitting your quarterly goals and missing them. Okay, case study number 2, a technology organization. Now, you'd assume a tech company would have this all figured out, right?
You would assume that. But their case study actually shows the opposite problem. They didn't have pilot purgatory. They had innovation chaos.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many recipes, not enough stovetops. They had an innovation backlog that was a mile long. Every single team wanted to build an AI feature. But they had no prioritization. They were completely paralyzed by choice.
Analysis paralysis.
So Scalepoint helped them rank these initiatives by ROI and feasibility. It told them, do this first, do this second, and ignore this third one for now.
Being the bouncer at the club.
Right. And the outcome. Focused investment. Within 90 days, just 3 months, they had a successful rollout of automated reporting and predictive insights. They went from a messy backlog to shipping features in 90 days.
That speed is incredible. Okay, last one. Case study number 3. A retail organization. Retail is tough, high turnover, lots of training.
This is my favorite one because it really addresses the human element. Their problem was high training costs and change friction. Getting people to change how they work in retail is just notoriously difficult.
Yeah.
If you have to pull everyone into a back room for a 4-hour training session on how to use AI, you've already lost money.
Nobody has time for that.
So they use Scalepoint to leverage that on-demand guidance we talked about. Instead of the classroom, they let the tool teach the staff while they worked.
Learning while doing.
Result: reduced training overhead, and this is the big one, increased confidence among non-technical staff. These aren't data scientists. These are store managers and operations teams using AI confidently.
That is huge, because if you can't get the non-technical people on board, you fail, period.
That is the gap right there.
So, hearing all this, I'm sure there are listeners thinking, okay, I see the value, but is this vaporware? Can I actually buy it? Let's talk market details.
So, again, time check. February 2026, the full application is set to be available in summer 2026.
Okay, so a few months out.
But there is an early adopter waiting list. And apparently, over 50 enterprises have already signed up.
And there's a scarcity element here too, right?
Yes. There are only 100 pre-order spots available. So if you're a CTO listening to this and you're sweating about your AI strategy, you probably want to move fast.
And what are we talking about cost-wise? Is this going to break the bank? Usually enterprise strategy software means 6 figures.
That's what I expected too. But it's surprisingly accessible. They have a Pro Edition at $100 monthly and an Executive Edition at $300 monthly.
Really, $100. That seems incredibly reasonable, especially for seeing 40% faster time to value. I mean, compared to the cost of a failed pilot program that burns $50,000, this is a rounding error.
It's designed to scale. They want these on every desk, not just in the boardroom. And it's worth noting that Scalepoint is part of Winning Team AI's broader suite. They have readiness tools, executive assistants. It's an entire ecosystem.
So let's zoom out. What does this all mean? If we look at the landscape in 2026, Scalepoint feels like a signal of a real shift.
Yep.
We aren't just playing with toys anymore.
I think that's the right way to see it. Winning Team AI has this core belief that I find really compelling. The future belongs to companies that don't just buy AI, but build the capability to use it well.
It's the difference between buying a Ferrari and actually knowing how to drive it on a track.
Precisely. We are moving from curiosity, that phase where we were all just playing with ChatGPT and making funny poems, to competence. And eventually, if you get this right, to competitive advantage.
I love that progression. Curiosity to competence to competitive advantage. It feels like we are finally moving past the hype cycle.
We are entering the utility cycle. This is where the boring work happens, but it's also where the real value is created. Tools like Scalepoint are becoming necessary infrastructure. You can't just wing it anymore.
No, the winging it era is definitely over. If you're still winging it in 2026, you're probably out of business.
And here's a thought I want to leave the listener with. For the last few years, we've operated under this assumption that the company with the best AI model wins. Whoever has the smartest algorithm or the biggest GPU cluster, that's who takes the market.
Right, the arms race.
But I don't think that's true anymore. The models are becoming commodities. Everyone has access to smart AI. The definition of success has changed. It's no longer about who has the best model. It's about who has the best process for getting humans to use it.
Who can bridge the gap?
That's it. The tech doesn't matter if nobody uses it. Adoption is the new competitive advantage.
That is a powerful thought to chew on. You can have the smartest AI in the world, but if your team is too scared or too confused to use it, it's just expensive code sitting on a server.
Exactly.
So, as we sign off, I want you, the listener, to take a hard look at your own workflows. Think about your team. Are you stuck in that gap? Do you have the high-level strategy up here and the daily grind down here and just a big, messy void in the middle?
Are you treating AI as a tool you buy or a capability you build?
If you are curious about that waitlist we mentioned, or you just want to see if this ecosystem is real, you can check them out at winningteami.com.
Definitely worth a look.
Thanks for diving in with us today. Stop buying treadmills you aren't going to use. We'll see you next time.